Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Monday night call. I am so excited you are here. I'm happy you're here. We have an exciting but different kind of night tonight. Tonight's going to be a little bit more interactive. We have been having a clarity workshop starting in January. If you haven't seen those recordings, I encourage you to see those. Clarity is so important for our business. When we work from a place of deep connection to our business, we're going to find more joy in what we do. We're going to be more present in what we do. We're going to be kinder to the people we're talking to. We're going to have more grace for them because we're deeply connected to why we're doing this. And it's just been, even for me, it's been very eye-opening as we've kind of dissected what an impact statement is, and all these things that have honestly, even for me, has connected me deeper to what I do, even going beyond your why, right? Because we always want you to have a why. We want you to get connected to your why and why you're actually doing this. But this sheet, which Natalie created, this sheet, which I'm super grateful she did. It's been very good for me, and I've been doing this for years. So, as you will see, if you're new here, you're going to see that a lot of the times these things shift and change throughout, the time you're doing this, and that's okay too. And so it's just brought a lot of clarity to my life, and I'm just really excited that we're all here, and we're going to kind of chat about that tonight. So I'm just open us with this question. Has anyone felt like you have had this big aha moment, or you've had just like kind of like a breakthrough moment, just kind of filling out this sheet? And we'll get to the actual statements in a little bit, but has anyone actually had an aha moment that they want to share? Like, whoa, like I didn't realize that. And that's, it's changing the way I look at my business. And if you have, which I hope we all have, but if anyone can kind of just unmute and share that with us.
I'm going to share because it has been an aha moment for me, because I think in this business, there's so many aspects of the business, and we talk about like a lot. And even for me doing this, it's been hard. Like me and Megan were talking before this. I'm like, this was hard because you can't just like write stuff down. You have to actually think, but it makes you clear on like what actually is your passion, like what you want the most out of it, I think. And so, because I think we all have these unique passions in us for a reason, and nobody's the same. And I think that that's great. And so for me, it's kind of like, well, I can't want this and this and this and this and this. Like there's something there that is like ignites me the most. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that is it. Like that is what I want to do. And so for me, it's just been an aha moment of like, wow, there's a lot that we talk about, and there's a lot about this business, but there are like those specific things that we're going to be super passionate about, or like, what we want the most out of this opportunity for people and stuff.
Yeah, that's good. And Kylie's been doing this for years. So that just kind of goes to show you that this is good to even, I think, every year revisit this. Anybody else? Aha moment?
I'll go. I think for me, well, actually, I know for me, it came when we had the exercise with Tova of writing down time versus money, like what you're spending your time on, what you're spending your money on, like really seeing like what you're investing in, like where is it going to kind of lead you to, that moment of seeing what you might put down as your core values, but what you're actually implementing as your core values. I think that was a big eye opener for me.
Kristen, can you specifically share? I want to get specific with this, y'all. Y'all actually share with us like what, like some of your core values.
Okay, so my core values, and I'm still trying to shrink the list, but I wrote down integrity, trust, faith, freedom, family, beauty, authentic, trusted, creative, secure. And from there, I kind of shrunk it down to integrity, trust, freedom, authentic, creative. So I'm like getting it down. But I've been writing this list. I mean, I've done this exercise and coaching calls before. And sometimes connecting a question to it. So Tova did this for me, like asking me specific questions and then doing it again. Because my initial list and then what I came up with now is very different. Because like when just looking at those words, I'm like, yeah, this, like that's me, that's me. But then when you're asked specific questions, which I could look back in my notes and come back and kind of put them out there for you guys, it made me look at it different. Like, oh, okay, if I ask that question and then look at these words, now what's resonating with me? But these are the ones I keep coming back to. These have been written over and over again. So clearly this list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 is important for me. And then just kind of really narrowing it down. But as far as like the time versus money, like this was like huge. Like I spent a lot of time cleaning, a lot. But I think that really has to do with more control. Like I want a controlled environment. I want this to look a certain way. It doesn't even make sense the amount of time I spend cleaning with toddlers because they're just going to keep wrecking it. So this was like a point of my productivity in my day where I could probably be utilizing it a heck of a lot better. You know, even while I'm doing this task, doing something simultaneously, like listening to more podcasts or listening to more books or doing the things more while still doing this. That was just a huge eye opener for me when I was doing this exercise. Like, wow, I clean a lot. And Allie was just at my house and she kind of pointed that out as well. She's like, you're cleaning again. I'm like, I know. So it just made me like really hone in on those things and give me clarity. So it was super helpful. I loved this exercise.
That's good. Anybody else want to share their, I mean, if we're going to go straight into core values, we can open that up now. Anyone else want to share your top 5 core values? I know it's hard to narrow them down, and we talked about that the last few weeks, but anybody want to just share their core values with us? Don't be shy.
I'll share. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've only had a little bit of time to like really do the exercise of where is my time and money going into this. And so I'm still narrowing it down a little bit. But my top 5, I'm gonna say 6 probably, are actually faith, family, health, excellence / integrity. I kind of put those two together, and that like if you're working toward being integrous, you're also going to be excellent in what you're doing. That's kind of my thinking in it. And then growth and hope are kind of together in this one for me, which are it's kind of interesting, but like having the hope that pushes me toward growth is kind of like that thing. So I don't know if there's actually a word for that I just didn't see it on the list, but those are my values, and that like I really value growing, and I really value the hope that gets me and forces me to grow of what's coming, and like, and those are my values. So
How do you feel like that has kind of carried over into your business?
I think that it's carried over a lot in that, like, well, one, there's health. Health is very important to me and always has been. It's always been something that, like, if you're my friend, you know I've invited you to go for a run with me if you live near. So like I always want to be working toward being healthy and helping my friends do that, because there's so many good benefits, and I value that. And so when Plexus kind of just fit into that whenever I started sharing, all of my friends were like, oh yeah, Michaela loves being healthy, loves making us be healthy with her. So and then there was faith in the hope kind of too, in the business, just being like, hey, you guys, like, I have hope here. Like, there's something about this that instills hope for what's to come. It makes you think about your why. It makes you think about really deep down what you want, which builds faith and hope. And so that has kind of come across in that and playing into my values that way with the business. And then it played the business. I think my excellence and integrity have come out in the business, and that, like, it's making me grow and realize areas that I haven't been excellent or maybe the most in full of integrity. And so this has been does that sorry. I think
Totally makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
I love that, Michaela. Mine are so like everything that you just said, mine are so similar to yours. And like I've been working on my core values for years. I like started working on like it's been years, and it's really taken a lot of like refinement and like focus, but impact, integrity, um enjoyment is a core value. I gotta be enjoying my life. That's like definitely top three. And then freedom and community those are my top five. I'd also throw in freedom and health are my other two. And I've been like considering, I'm like moving up health, honestly, because like the more I've been focusing on it and the more I've been thinking about it, the more even just like in the season of my life, I've just been like, I have to choose health. Like health is so important. Like what examining every area of my life, like physical health, but also mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, like really just like encompassing like wholeness, like that full, like whole health, which also kind of goes along with excellence, or integrity. Like you were saying, like if you have integrity, then like health is going to be like a byproduct of integrity, because if you really like understand what integrity like fully encompasses, it's so much more rich than just doing the right thing when no one's watching. It's like, do I honor myself? Do I honor my family? Do I make good choices for me? Like it's a really rich topic. So but like really deciding, I think the most impactful like core value that I narrowed down this year has been enjoyment, because it helps me to realize that I don't have to feel guilty for needing to enjoy my life, right? Like there are like I can't sacrifice enjoyment out of my life. Otherwise, I'm not living into my core values, and I won't be like my most fully alive whole self if I'm sacrificing that too much. And so it kind of helped me to get like rid myself of any guilt that I feel if I'm not over functioning or overperforming or whatever, to give myself that time. And then I feel more energized and there's no guilt in it. So it's a lot more freedom. So that's me.
That's good.
I really agree with Natalie about kind of feeling guilty and like having to like train yourself out of that, because one of my core values is being financially stable. I'm in a lot of therapy about this specifically. It causes a lot of anxiety in my life because I am out of school. I have a lot of loans. I grew up in a family that was always tight on money. So like it's something that was very instilled in me at a very young age. So another core value I have is travel. And so I always thought like if I'm not paying my bills or if I don't pay off all my loans, I can never travel. And that's something I've proved wrong to myself this year, like because travel is an important thing and I've always wanted to do that. And I I made myself an avenue to do that, and I've been able to go and travel and do um a lot within this last year. So I think those are two super important things. And another one that I'm like personally working on right now is respect, because to me like like yes, I respect others, and like that's how like you grow up, like you have to respect others to you like you have to give respect to get respect, and I believe that very wholeheartedly. However, I'm also learning to like respect myself and like my own time and not waste time and like respect my boundaries. And I think it's all kind of the way you look at all of these values. Like yes, you want to kind of I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like show all of these people like yes, I'm respectful, but like you can't really truly be respectful if you're not respecting yourself first. Um so I think it was kind of with my core values, I had to take Tova's advice. I know she kind of said don't go with like the social norm. Like don't worry about like society and what society thinks, because personally like when I highlighted financial stability, I was like wow, that's so selfish. And like I felt so guilty. And like I personally at first didn't put respect because I was like, well, obviously I respect people. Like that's just who I am. But then I kind of thought about it deeper, and like as I went through kind of like the process of like, okay, what is really important in my life and what do I want to become? Um, Kind of making respect a core value was something that like I'm learning to do, like, and especially respecting myself, and like that's not selfish. That's like making me a better human.
Yeah, yeah, just exactly what Natalie said. Self-respect is number 3 on my core value list. And yeah, I don't feel bad about it at all. I think that if you cannot respect yourself, just like the Bible says, love what your neighbor as you love yourself. If you have no love for yourself, you can't love people well. And that's really big for me. If I can't respect myself and my boundaries, and I hope that this is affirming for you, Emily, like if I can't do that, then I'm not operating in my best self, the best self that God created me to be. Like I'm just not operating in that. And that goes from anything to respecting my boundaries. If I put my phone away, not feeling guilty. If, my mom called me and I missed her call, it's like, yeah, this is the boundary that I put up. I'm not going to be on my phone right now, and that's, respecting those boundaries for myself, has been very, very good for me. It's been good for my family, and I think that I don't, and in it, I really respect people that also respect themselves, right? That's another thing too. Like if you can respect yourself, because I value it so much that you have self-respect, I just admire that so much.
I have respect written down too, and I almost felt like when I was thinking about it, I almost felt guilty about it too, because especially when it comes to boundaries, and like when I first started out, I just went balls to the walls, and like I wanted to help so many people, and I gave them like all of my time. And my husband, he's gone a lot for work, and sometimes he'll only get to come home for a few days, and I felt like those few days, like when he was here, I wasn't really present because I wasn't like setting boundaries and respecting that.
Mhm.
And now, like, I really make it a point to literally put my phone in the other room, and like I'll miss calls from family and friends, and I'll wake up the next day to like 3 people I had been talking to earlier that day, like asking me questions over and over, and like I hadn't gotten to them. And I was like, you know what? I just needed that time.
Yeah.
Like I needed to focus on myself. I needed to focus on my family. And yeah, so I almost felt guilty writing it down, but like that's top tier for me.
Yeah. Does
Okay, I'm
anybody-
gonna pop in
Okay, go ahead.
here. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Well, not to share like, well, okay, on the topic of feeling guilty, one of my core values is recognition. And I almost was like, it was like weird for me to write down because part of me felt like, I'm like, oh, recognition, but that is so high for me. And it's
Yeah.
true. I'm like, I have to write it down. It was like one of those Tova was saying, like, you feel like you should put this because that's like the picture. Anyways, but even at our Christmas party, I don't remember who I was talking to. I think it was an aha moment for me because my whole life I've had a really hard time like standing up for myself or like speaking up for myself or saying hard things. I'm kind of more go with the flow, peace, whatever. So I think recognition is how I like find that, okay, I did a good job. Like, because I'm not seeking it out. So it's like when I get recognized, it's like validating. And then also on Strengths Finder, when I took it, self-assurance was my second to last on the Strengths Finder. So like my whole life I've struggled with being self-assured. And so I feel like the recognition really validates like, oh, okay, yeah, I really did,
Yeah.
do a good job. I really did do this. It just validates everything. And so that's one of those core values. Like I felt guilty or like weird writing it down, recognition, but I'm like, no. And so digging deeper into like why it makes sense. And that's one of my like big core values.
Absolutely. What number is that on there for you?
I have not organized mine. I have like 7. I have 7 wrote down
Yeah.
because I had a lot, and how sometimes some of them can like play into each other because originally when I was like writing a bunch down, for example, family is very important to me. Like my home, so home, there was home on there, and then there was parenting, and then there's like family, and I'm like, wait, like how does this all go in? And I kind of tied it down into family because my home is so important because of my family, and then parenting is so important, but it goes back to family and love and all of that. But my 7 ones that I have wrote down is faith, family, growth, recognition, integrity, optimism, and impact. Like those 7, I'm having a really hard time like narrowing it down to 5.
I know. I have 8 and it's just like, man, this is very hard.
I have Kylie really fast because I have recognition written down as well. And I felt putting that down. So I was like, okay, if she said it, then I'll say it. I have 8 core values on mine. And I don't have them in any order except my absolute number 1. And it's my word for the season. It's my word for the year, and it's peace. And I have to be able to, if I have a peaceful mind, then I can put a peaceful atmosphere. And that's what my kids need to live in. That's what my team needs to have. That's what, as a leader, I need to be. So having that peace within myself, that is hands down something I will not shake on. Family, faith. Faith is huge for me. Loyalty, creativity, clearly, it's just part of my blood. I just love to be creative. Stability, inclusion, and recognition. So inclusion, I just, at a young age, I just wanted everybody to get along. I wanted everybody to sit at the same table. Like that's just how I always was. I just wanted everybody to be friends. So inclusion is like super important for me. My little brother was bullied growing up, and it infuriated me. And I don't know, I just cannot shake that. I can't get around that. And so if I see somebody hurting or somebody feeling left out or somebody not being included in something, like it boils my blood to no end. Loyalty is big, like just, if you're not loyal, like just go away. Like I like really tight, like strong values when it comes to that. And loyalty is like you're in or you're out, and if you're in my inner circle, you're in my inner circle. So those are just some things that I wanted to put out there, but you're not the only one with recognition, Kylie.
That's awesome. And I think it's huge that everyone is like saying like, hey, I kind of felt guilty about this, but I still put it on my list. Like that's such a big deal. I have rest on my list and I don't feel bad about it, you know, because it's like these are sometimes we think because we want to be high performers and we want to be success driven, but it's like if you don't have these little things in there where you know you can have fun, if that's you know, like kind of like what Natalie said, like she wants to have fun in her life, right? So she wants to enjoy her life, like that's not a bad thing. Same with rest. Like I want to be able to rest. That's actually a core value for me. Like if I don't have rest, then how am I recharging to do the things I want to do? Anyone else felt guilty about something they had on their list and then they kind of still put it on there anyway because it just felt right?
This is just
Well,
an
I wrote in the
aside.
chat, I felt
I'm
weird
sorry,
about
Kristen.
putting beauty down. I thought it was going to be like a vain
Mm,
thing, like
mhm,
beauty, what does that mean? But I don't just mean beauty in the physical sense. Like I am like very into scenery or appreciating like God's work in this world or like the beauty in things or in someone. So when I like dug a little deeper about it, I realized like I don't mean it in a shallow, vain way,
mhm.
although it is important to me to have myself together. In my time money factor, I spend a lot of time and money on that. On makeup and nails and hair and skin care and even plexus on the inside, whatever. So clearly this is like a high value for me. But I am definitely a visual person, like, but not just for people, for things, you
Mhm.
know, around me, like in art even too. I think that also ties into my, on the list is creative, like my creative nature. So, but yeah, at first I wrote it and I was like, I was about to delete it, and then I was like, let me think more about this. Maybe there's more to what I mean.
I love that.
I think it's really important as a leader to know your peoples on your team, especially the people you work closely with, because like, man, I understood so much more about Natalie and the way she works. It just, we have different top ones, which is totally fine. But like, she would confuse me about things, and I'm sure I would confuse her about things. And once we understood the prioritization of our top ones, it's like, oh, that makes sense. If she doesn't do that, she feels like misaligned with herself.
Mhm.
And so even your spouse and close friends, I think it's going to be difficult to understand each other and communicate well if you don't take time to learn each other's.
Yeah. I think too, you know, when we do these personality tests, which are a little different but similar, you know, when I know that someone's a certain personality type or, you know, whatever personality test you want to do, when I know that someone is a personality type like this, or, you know, this is their weakness or this is their strength, I have so much more grace for them because I know that you're not trying to be this is the way you are, this is the way you think, and that's okay, and we're not here to change anybody, and we want you to be your authentic self. Like we all have, you know, even different core values. That's okay. It actually allows us to have grace for one another. You know, part of like Tova, right? Excellence or competence, is that was one of your top ones. Like, man, I want more of that, you know, like I got to talk to her about some stuff, you know, I need more of that. But like she said, if you don't feel aligned because, you know, you're trying to put the right thing on the list and you're actually, you know, I don't want to say, what is the word, like not self-sabotaging, but you're not being true to who you are, you know, like you put down what's actually your core value. um Anybody else want to share before we wrap it up?
I was just going to share how you said about being authentic and being unapologetically me has been, I was thinking about it, is really a core value. For so long, I was always trying to meet other people's expectations or other people wanted me to be, or, you know, whatever it was growing up. And as I get older, I just realized how important it is for me to just be free, to be me. And, you know, whether you love me or leave me, like, that's okay. I'm where I'm at. And just when, oops, sorry, you saying that, it just made me think of, that is really one of.
Yeah.
So I think the Pink Power call link, I'm seeing the notifications come up, and the Pink Power call link is messed up right now. So we have more time to go on if we want to hear from more people beyond core values. I'd love to hear someone's like impact statement or vision statement, like whatever like you wrote out that like really like connected with you. I would love to hear a couple more of those. And I think we had talked about being okay going over a little bit on this one. So I'd love to just hear from more people.
Impact statement. Anybody want to share their impact statement? I know last time we talked about it, we said like you could have two, you could have like a products one, you could have a business one, but you can share whichever one you came up with.
Okay, I'll share mine. I'm still working on it. But I feel like this is definitely going to be one thing that I'm going to be learning and growing and working on continually. But for right now, my impact statement is that I want to help women build a hope and a belief in themselves and who God created them to be, and help them reach their potential and the goals that they have set out in that realm. And I want to leave help leave a legacy and help them leave a legacy long term in their families and for my family and the people around us through this business of health and happiness and financial freedom. So that's my impact statement.
I love that.
Okay, I'll read mine. Since
Yes.
nobody's going. I think we have to start calling people.
Should I
And
start
then
calling out names? Is that?
yeah, because I don't want to keep talking. I just feel like we're in dead silence. So is this anybody else? We're gonna call some. We're gonna like. We should do like a spin. You know, you spin.
Well, I want to hear yours now. Come on.
Okay. I wrote, I help women gain confidence and independence. I guide and keep them accountable to continuing on their journey to unlocking their full potential. I instill confidence and point out all of their strengths. I am supportive and faithful in all of my guidance.
Ooh, I like that. Megan. Come on.
I'm gonna be real honest here. I just stare at this box. Like I was telling Kylie earlier,
Mhm.
this has been like, and I don't know why, this has been like incredibly hard for me because I feel like I'm the type of person who like had a lot of clarity, you know, like I know what I want. But then I sat down to like do this worksheet and I'm just like, what do I want? Like, what do I do? I don't know what it is, but I'm just being honest, y'all. I'm sorry. But
We want the honesty, and I think that's good, especially because we don't really ask ourselves the stuff, you know, on a regular basis.
no.
Yeah.
But like I'm hearing everyone else and like I agree with everything they're saying and like that's exactly like how I feel, but like putting it on paper, I'm like sitting here with my pen, like just staring at the box.
Okay. This is good. We got to get on a, we gotta get on a little three-way call.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, well, honestly, that's super good to hear because I feel like, honestly, I got this, well, the podcast that Tova had shared about was it Bill, what is his name? Heilig?
Bob Heilig,
But why did I say Bill? Okay, yeah.
It's
Bob Heilig.
the baby.
It's the baby. And he goes over your impact statement. And if someone were to ask you, like, what do you do, Megan? Like, what do you do? Instead of saying like, oh, I've done this before. I've been like, oh, I sell probiotics, and it's like, what I do is so much more meaningful than that. What I do is so much more powerful than that. And so that when I kind of heard that, I was like, okay, like a switch came on for me. Like I help women live a life without limits to dream, right? Like then I started thinking about all the stuff I want my team to feel. So then I'm like, okay, yeah, like I want them to live a life where they can dream again, where they can grow in their leadership and help people do the same for, and if you have like this powerful statement that you can share with someone, what do? Instead of saying I sell probiotics, which is, we do so much more than that, right? We lead a team. We want people to do this with us. We empower people. We lead people. Like that's the kind of stuff you want to put in your impact statement. That when someone hears that, they're like, oh, snap, you have a ton of purpose. Like that, there's so much purpose in what you do. And I don't know if Tova, if you want to add on to that.
Sure. Another way to say it, Megan, because I know we're similar, is what do I want to accomplish with this person? What's my goal with this person? So for mine with the products, I help health-minded people to live out their best lives without any physical limitations, educating and enabling them to survive and not thrive. So like I want to make sure you walk away knowing more about your health, feeling empowered about your health, and having the desire to do something. I'm trying to fix that. Like if you don't have a desire, it's because you don't know that you need a desire. So that's like what I'm trying to accomplish. When you're having a health conversation with someone, like what are you trying to get through to them? What are you trying to accomplish with them? If you were to get off of it and be like, yeah, I did it. Like what's it? It's not a sale. It's not that. What did you do for them? That's just a product example one, which I think is a little bit easier sometimes to start with personally than the business one.
Can you share what you have for your business one?
I sure can. And I do feel like this is always a living and breathing thing that we're working on. So I help women reach their full potential by working into their strengths and empowering others to do the same, achieving success and freedom professionally and financially. I'm still trying to get some more feeler words in there, but we're getting there. We're like 75% there.
I love that. That's so good.
I like how you have achieving professionally. And I love it.
Achievement is in my top 5 core values, and it's number 1 on Strength Finder. So I'm just embracing it. I'm gonna help you achieve.
Yes. Those are your people. I have it all in my Instagram bio, like my impact statement. And I think I believe so yeah, because I've worked on that. So it's in my Instagram bio, and it's like I help people, and it says like I help people get healthy and become whole through whatever. It's like through discovering passion to like get healthy and and develop a passion to grow like their own business or something like that. But it's like discovering passion to grow a business, become whole, become healthy. And so I don't know. I think my bio in itself does attract people to me because it is clear and to the point. Like, I'm here to help you get healthy. I'm here to help you get whole. I'm here to help you discover passion to grow your own business. It's in black and white, and it's not confusing at all. Like, it is exactly what I do.
I think I know, Natalie, you're saying yours is very specific. I think I need to make mine more specific. Like, I'm not quite done with mine. Like, I feel like mine is so broad. And like, I think what I was trying to do was do business and like products together. And I think I need to separate them because I think like what I have isn't bad information. Like, it's what I truly believe. But I think it's like very Mod Podgey. Like, I think it needs to be very separate. So, because they're two very different goals. So I think I have to work more on that. So when they are done, I'll let you guys hear it.
And even once you do them both, you might start to see trends where you could bring them back together. Like, I want to educate and enable people. I do the same thing with the business. Once people are educated enough to understand this opportunity, they almost always do the things we do when they know the things we know. Same with the
Yeah.
products.
Yeah,
So,
I
I
think a
mean-
lot of mine is like, I want everybody to be like, I want individuals to be happy and free by empowering them to like believe in themselves, but like what else? You know, like I need like that specific piece to it. Like,
I think that
what
sounds
am
really
I
good.
what do I want them to believe in, and like what do I want to empower them with?
Okay, so I went and read my bio, and it says empowering you to, oh dang it, what does this say? Empowering you through reclaiming your health, finding wholeness, and discovering passion to grow your own business. So I like coupled it all together with like, I don't know, with the best. I worked on that for a long time.
Yeah, that's good. And I think too, like with the products, I mean, and the business, you want to also, you're attracting people with your words. What are the kind of people you want to also attract with your words? I've said it before, like, I'm not trying to work with males. My biggest audience is homeschooling moms and women. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm okay with that. I don't feel bad about that. It's just, this is my audience. And so also knowing like who you are attracting. I'm not saying you can't, you can sign up anybody, but it's also brings clarity when you're specific. So like with my products, I say I help women and moms of young kids feel their best by prioritizing their health. And I help them thrive with products that make them feel energized and whole again. And that's my like audience, right? Those are the people that I am engaging with every single day. Those are the people. And so, when you also write this, like, who do you want to attract? Like Tova's very specific with hers. I would leave those words, achievement and all of that stuff, because guess the kind of people she's going to attract. Those are the kind of people she's going to attract. Those are her people. Like, that's exactly right. So when you come up with it, just make sure that you also know that, like, that's good. What kind of people do you want to attract?
Think of your favorite customers.
Mm-hmm.
And your not favorite customers. Like, I realized I was attracting a lot of really unhealthy people that needed Plexus really bad, but like, that doesn't mean you shouldn't help them, but that wasn't like my core group I was going after. Who I really wanted to go after was people who already care about health. They spend time and money on their health. It's a value. So a lot of the people that I ended up attracting at the beginning, health was a very low value for them. So then it obviously was difficult to communicate with them and keep them on the products. So you might have to look, who are my best keepers and who didn't go well and why.
Yep. Anybody else want to share?
Hi, guys.
I have a question. Oh,
Hi, Christine. So yeah, I was just going to say I wanted to chime in just for 2023, and we are talking a little bit about clarity. I had a conversation with Sabrina and Tova the other day during our meeting, and I kind of told them that I'm
What will I
kind
say?
of almost
It was a.
venting myself.
Remember when? I don't know if you had to go on. Dawn, you're unmuted. Thanks.
And just kind of going in and like kind of not reinventing myself, but really just figuring out what I needed in life. And that was just taking a step back and being a little more selfish with me and my time and what I wanted to do and family. I gave a lot up last year to a lot of different things, a lot of thoughts, a lot of patterns, a lot of habits that like I've been trying to break. And after coming out of Ruby and going into the holiday season, I started setting boundaries. I started saying no. I made different changes in that, like by setting the boundaries, I made more changes in my life and my personal life, but by saying no and saying, no, this is what I'm going to do. So for the ladies that said that they were selfish and like the things that they wrote down and things like that, like I have actually took the most selfish route the last couple of months and just said no. So that's going to be a lot of me this year, is setting boundaries, saying no, taking a step back, revisiting important things in life. So that is my 2023 clarity, is setting my boundaries, saying no, and knowing where my strengths are and when I can't handle anymore.
Christy, that's really good. And I don't think we track enough where we need boundaries. I didn't, for sure. And so I started tracking what zapped my energy. And that was like my tipping off point for I should probably create a boundary around it. Not that it can be deleted. Most things that need boundaries we can't remove and get rid of, but I think you can control what time of day you decide to handle them. And to what extent, like setting the time limit on things and doing the best you can in that time, like Christy said, and that telling yourself that that's good enough. I'm going to do the best I can in this time with this topic that's difficult, or this person that's difficult, whatever your boundary needs to be. But if you don't track how things are making you feel, I think you're kind of going to be clueless where you need boundaries. And we've said it again and again, if you want energy left for those top values, you better protect it, because you're just dishing out energy all day long. And if it's not one of those top 5, 10 values, that's not, faithful to yourself and what you want, and you're not going to feel good at the end of the day. So you got to protect it.
Talking about boundaries, is there anyone that last question there, boundaries to protect my mission specific? Did anybody want to get specific about a boundary they're setting?
I just have written down not allowing myself to be around negative people and or things. And I also put set a time daily, and I almost felt selfish putting this, to set aside time daily for me to just take a breather. Like, because like I said in the beginning, like when I'm in the middle of like messaging people, or if there's like a day where I'm talking to, say, 5 people, I will literally spend my entire day talking to them. And here recently, like I just feel like I need to set a boundary and like set a time where, okay, I'm not going to respond. I need this for me. I need this for like my mental health. Because I can't just keep going. You know, I just need a breather sometimes.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to schedule, a time of quietness. If you don't schedule it, you won't have it. If you, especially for, Megan, amazing people like you're giving people like so much of your undivided attention. And I love that. And you're in momentum. And I've seen this before where it's like you're in momentum and so you're going. But if you don't schedule that time of rest, if you don't schedule that time for quietness, and it's for everybody. I mean, you need to do that, whether it's first thing in the morning or you need a midday break or a midday, like, I don't know, get out in nature, turn your phone off. Like, that's okay. That's a very good boundary to set. It's going to keep you for the long, it's going to keep you doing this for the long run, right? Longevity. It's all about longevity.
There was a time in my business where, being in momentum, I started to feel that like burned out feeling and like the tug from too many places. And so when that started to creep up, I started to learn that I had to be specific about hours. So like I'm specific about when I work. I don't start messaging people. I don't start replying until after my morning workout, because I would sacrifice that and neglect that, and then I would become like burned out, resentful. So I stopped doing that. So after my morning workout, and then after my kids get home from school from like 3 to 7, like I'm not doing it. And so I really started protecting those chunks of hours, and I wouldn't feel guilty, and I would know later when the time comes, when my work time comes, I will get to it then, because there are no plexus emergencies. So, and that's what keeps you in this for the long haul. So that's a major boundary. If y'all don't have boundaries like that, I would get specific with hours and stuff like that, especially in seasons of momentum.
I have to agree. Like in the beginning of my business, I really didn't understand time boundaries and I just went all day long. And when it was brought to my attention, because I couldn't just like pick what time I thought was best or what time of the day I thought was best, until somebody said to me, well, what is non-negotiable? What times do you not want to do anything? Like, what is that precious time that you have put aside? And that was where clarity came in. I'm like, okay, I can tell you when my kids get off the bus till right after their sports are done, I want to be with my kids. I want to make dinner. I want to be present. I want to ask them questions. We have a system. Did you have a traffic light system day, like a green day, a yellow day, a red day? And we talk through these things. And I didn't have enough time to have those full conversations with my kids, and things were starting to fall through the cracks. So that was 100% non-negotiable. And then Friday nights for my family, and everybody on my team knows, that is family movie night. My kids don't go and have a sleepover. We don't have friends sleeping here. That is our time strictly as a family. Phones are off, all electronics are off, and that is designated family time. Now, my team knows they can get in touch with me at any other time of the day, but those times I had to have a talk with myself and a come to Jesus. Those are times that are precious to me and I'm not willing to give up. But that's the beauty of our job. And we can handpick those hours and say, sorry, I am doing this type of job so I can spend that time with my kids, that one-on-one intentional time with my kids. I don't need that time when they're sleeping. So I catch up. I'm a late poster. That's just what I do. But my kids are in bed. I have time, I can relax, I can think, and that's when I do my best work. So yeah, time is non-negotiable in certain times of the day.
Love that. Anybody else?
I'll share. I haven't shared today. So,
Yeah.
if you're wondering where I'm at, like there's a crib behind me and the door is locked because boundaries. I have 4 kids, so it's it's really hard. I'm like, I started off downstairs at the table and like there was screaming and I kept on glancing up at the stairs. Kids are like falling down the stairs. So I'm like, I need to like get myself somewhere away. But this is actually the area that I struggled with the most because I just didn't really know like what is a boundary that protects like what I'm doing with Plexus. And the biggest thing that I found was creating a schedule and keeping it. And so this past month in December, I went through like a really, really bad season of burnout. And I was just like, man, like I've hit a wall and I feel like I can't get myself to do anything that I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm constantly every day. Someone was sharing like, I think it was Kristen. I think somebody was sharing about like cleaning constantly every day. Like you're always cleaning and that's like all you do. And that's what I found myself doing was constantly just cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and trying to like do these things. And the next hour, it was like the mess was back and I was drained. And I'm like, I haven't even gotten to my Plexus stuff. I haven't gotten to reading my Bible, like my important stuff. And what the Lord was showing me is like, it's a new season and it's a new way of doing things. Like you have to learn how to prioritize like what's important. And so going into this year, creating that schedule, the first thing that I'm doing in my day is like putting first what's most important. And that's for me spending time with the Lord. Like if I don't do that, my day is like jacked up. And then after that, it's like creating my Plexus content and then getting that ready for the day. So when I have that moment, I can post that. And by doing that, I've found that I'm actually staying committed. I'm actually showing up every day the way I'm supposed to. That's like the only boundary that I have, but it's the only one that's like been working for me. And that's what I needed to stay committed into what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's so huge, Melissa. That's
Let
awesome.
me find the mute. I'm so bad with phones. What did I just do?
Oh yeah, you're.
Oh Lord Jesus. Hold on. Okay, I found it.
Yeah, that's so good, Melissa. I think, knowing what's most important. Yes, you need to know what's most important to set those boundaries. If you don't know, then you don't know what boundaries to set. Well, you guys, this was so awesome. I so loved hearing from everyone. I appreciate everyone's vulnerability and sharing. Thank you, even Megan. Like, thank you for just saying, like, hey, this was really hard for me, because we wanted to hear that. We want to hear just more, because you know what, I feel like other people will resonate with that. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, for hopping on. I am so excited we were able to do this. We'll keep you guys posted on next week, but I'm so excited that we were able to chat about this. I hope that you guys were able to get value from this, from hearing other people's core values, from hearing other people's boundaries and schedules. Like that's what we wanted. It's just not only to hear from one person, but to hear from the whole team. And I think we accomplished that. So I'm really, really happy about that. I love you guys, and I will see you all next week. Bye.